Overhead is entered on an annual basis. We can put in just the full amount, or we can do it on a detailed level. Land rent is already filled in from our crop budgets. We can see the detail here. Before leaving this page, make sure to save it. We have now entered in a full farm plan. Let's go to the cash surplus profit page. The cash surplus profit page is a summary of what you've put into the program so far in grain budgets and overhead. It shows you what the revenue is, $340.98, which is the same as the grain budget, $340.95, so just a rounding error. Same thing with the expense, $143.55, and contribution margin of gross profit is going to be reflected in this cash surplus page as well. $143.55 and the contribution margin. It also gives us what the cash total was of $151.26. That came from overhead page, $151.26. This page gives us the answer. It's going to have a positive cash surplus. And not only is cash surplus important, but we also need to know what the profit is, because depreciation is not a cash outflow, but principal and management are, but not an expense. So we need to see both. And they both need to be positive. For each individual crop, let's go back to grain budgets. Again, we have the revenue, and we have the expense, and the gross profit, not only for the total farm, but for each individual crop on individual fields. When we take the gross profit, in this case 187, minus the overhead of 151.26, we are left with 36.22. To be profitable, these numbers need to be positive. But these numbers are based on a 40 bushel crop getting $9.64 a bushel. How much do we need to get to break even? Break even means that cash surplus would be zero. For this budget with a 40 bushel crop, the break even price needs to be $8.73, $6.59 for peas, $3.27 for wheat. Another way to say this is that at $8.73 a bushel times 40 bushels to the acre, the revenue will equal the crop expense of $198 and the overhead of $151 for a cash surplus to be zero. If this crop was sold at $9.64 a bushel, it would take 36 bushels times $9.64 a bushel to equal that same revenue. Just a reminder about rent. Rent is included in the overhead number, so we don't need to subtract it and figure it into the price break-even calculations. It's here just for reference. Also for reference, the green check marks and red X's. The green check mark means that we're hitting our target of $100 an acre. The red X means that we actually are getting a negative margin here, that 40 bushels to the acre at $5.60 a bushel equals $2.24 an acre is not enough to pay for the $116 and the $151 of overhead. Growing wheat in this case is putting you into the red. I hope knowing your cost of production and seeing it in these reports helps you make better decisions.